Welcome into the Chiefs Report. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Day 2 of the NFL Draft is here. We're just 4, 5, 6 hours away. And I thought I would do a Day 2 mock draft for Kansas City, considering the Chiefs did not have a first-round pick after the Orlando Brown trade. Good news is, though, they have 2 picks in the second round because Baltimore, for some reason, sent back Kansas City. A second-round pick is a part of that trade. No third-round picks, so just a pair of second-round picks. And we'll take a look at a couple of players I think Kansas City could draft in the second round tonight. Number 58 overall from Baltimore, and then, of course, their own second-round pick, which is number 63 overall for the Kansas City Chiefs. The biggest needs, I think, fall something like this, and we've talked about this. I think 1 through 3 is really interchangeable. It's not a super strong edge class, so wide receiver and corner make more sense with those second-round picks. I think center is an option if you want to get a guy to sit behind Austin Blythe for a year. Linebacker could be a pick as well, but edge, wide receiver, and corner are my top 3 needs, but they're very interchangeable. I think you could go in any direction with one of those picks. And the picks you got remaining in this draft are really starting tonight because you didn't have a first-round pick. Like I said, number 58 overall, 63 overall in round 2. That's what we'll focus on in today's mock. But Kansas City also has a 4th-round pick, number 144 overall, a pair of 5th-round picks at 175 and 181, and then a 6th-round pick at 207 overall. 6 picks in total, and I think it's very reasonable to think that the Chiefs could trade down from one of their picks tonight, although in my mock, I did not have them trading down. Who will the Chiefs draft on day 2, or who do you want them to? We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video. Who will or should Kansas City draft tonight? Let's go to round 2, pick number 58 in my day 2 mock for Kansas City. Rondale Moore, the wide receiver out of Purdue, which is a guy we've talked about before. An undersized but very explosive and versatile playmaker. This is a guy that can play in the slot. He can play some of the outside, jet sweep game. I think he's a higher ceiling Mecole Hardman type. Similar speed. He can really burn. He was awesome as a freshman at Purdue in 2018. Then injuries started to pile up. 2019 had a torn ACL. He was banged up a little bit here in 2020. But if you get Rondale Moore, a healthy Rondale Moore, that's a fun pick. Like, especially in this offense, I'm just imagining like just little quick slants that he catches and takes 50 yards, like Mecole Hardman style against the Titans a couple of years ago when he caught that crossing route and just burners to the end zone for about 70 yards. Rondale Moore's got that type of explosiveness and ability. This would be a very, very fun pick, and a pick that would really help because the Chiefs could use another wide receiver after losing Sammy Watkins. When he's been on the field in college, he's been really good. Almost 100 yards per game there. You guys can do the math. 14 touchdowns in 20 career games, almost 200 catches. He's been really, really good. I mean, you average the per game numbers there. You're talking like 8 catches for 91 yards and, 2/3 of a touchdown per game. That's really good at a small school, or a smaller school like Purdue. That's really, really impressive for Rondale Moore playing in the Big Ten, especially with a lot of that production coming his freshman season. Now, you look at the wide receiver depth chart. Obviously, you got Tyreek Hill. You got Travis Kelce at tight end. But what's it after that, right? You got some good, depth there. Mecole Hardman, Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle. I like all those players, but do you have a wide receiver too? I'm not so sure. Ideally, Hardman emerges this year, but he didn't really last year when Sammy Watkins was hurt. He was more of that rotation type of guy. So we'll see what happens here. If nothing else, Rondale Moore creates competition at the wide receiver position for Kansas City, and he definitely fits the mold of what the Chiefs are trying to do offensively. Get playmakers the ball in space and go. And that's what Rondale Moore can do at wide receiver. Other players on the board when I made this selection: Aleem McNeil, the North Carolina State defensive tackle; Landon Dickerson, the center out of Alabama, who I think could be an option; Liam Eichenberg, the Notre Dame tackle. Before the Orlando Brown trade, I would have said, sweet, draft him, but don't need him anymore. Aaron Robinson, the UCF corner, and then Diane Brown, the North Carolina wide receiver, but I opted to go with Rondale Moore out of Purdue. Grade the pick for me. A, B, C, D, or F. How would you feel about Rondale Moore here in the second round? I'd feel pretty good. There's a little risk involved with the injury history, but he's a fun, explosive player. So get your grades in. I'd probably give it like a B+ if you're asking me. get subscribed to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. We had a fun night on round 1 last night, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We're going to be live again tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern time, 1 hour before round 2 begins. You can catch every single pick over there, including the Chiefs selections. So check that out, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We'll, of course, have more coverage here on the Chiefs Report as well. So just 5 picks later, Landon Dickerson, the center out of Alabama, round 263. He was still on the board when I picked in the second round pick for the Chiefs. Maybe the most talented center this year. He does have injury histories, a couple of knee surgeries, including a torn ACL this past December. But as we've talked before about Dickerson, you could just basically redshirt him this year and say, all right, come in, learn, be our backup center. Austin Blythe is on a 1-year contract as a veteran. You can learn under him, and then he's your center, hopefully, for the next 5 or 10 years, starting in 2022. I think Rondale Moore and Landon Dickerson would be a great day, too. I think if you get a haul like this, if you're Brett Veach, you feel great. You're like, boom, fix the O-line in free agency, added a center in the draft, added another playmaker in Rondale Moore, and you're feeling great. Now, I do think trading down's an option for one of these picks. Pick up a third, pick up a fourth, whatever the case may be. But if you end up with Rondale Moore and Landon Dickerson, I'm down. I think that's a really good haul for Brett Veach and company. And you kind of look ahead to 2022, you would plug in Dickerson at center, and you've got a really young and up-and-coming offensive line, especially on the left side. Orlando Brown, Joe Thuney. You would have Dickerson at center. We'll see, ideally, Lucas Niang's your right tackle by then. And then right guard is whoever, right? Maybe you draft someone. Maybe Duvernay Tardif for Kyle Long is back next year as well. But I think drafting a center, if you feel good about it, is an option for Kansas City. I wouldn't say it's a major need for this year, but I do think long-term it is a major need. I don't know that Kansas City views Austin Blythe is a long-term option at the center position. If he's healthy, Landon Dickerson could provide that for the Chiefs. So who else was on the board at this pick? Obviously, it was just a few picks later. Liam Eichenberg was still there. Pete Warner, the Ohio State linebacker, was on the board. Diami Brown was still there as well, the North Carolina receiver. Jalen Mayfield, the tackle out of Michigan, and then Elijah Molden, the cornerback out of Washington. CB, a need, maybe a more pressing need as well, but I just think Dickerson is a better prospect, which is why I opted for him. So what's the better pick? Rondale Moore, Landon Dickerson? Let me know. Type RM for Rondale Moore. Type LD for Landon Dickerson. Moore probably helps you more this year, but long-term wise, it may actually be Landon Dickerson. So let me know what you guys think. RM or LD, who is the better pick in my Chiefs Day 2 mock draft? And again, round 2, round 3, it's tonight. So let's take a look at Tom Downey's best available prospects as we gear up for the night. Again, we'll be live on Chat Sports. Jeremiah Wusu-Koramoah, Tevin Jenkins. I was surprised he didn't go round 1. Landon Dickerson still there. Tom's very high on him. Christian Barmore as well. 5 through 8. Asante Samuel Jr., who's an interesting nickel corner hybrid. I think he could be interesting if he falls to Kansas City. Azeez Ojulari is a player that's been linked to the Chiefs in some mock drafts. Trevon Merrick, Samuel Cosme as well. There are some good players still out there in this NFL draft. Elijah Moore still there. Rondale Moore hadn't been drafted yet. Nick Bolton, Elijah Molden. There are some good prospects still available in this year's class. The back half of the first round kind of got a little bit wonky with some early mid-day 2 prospects getting drafted, and I definitely think that the Chiefs will have an opportunity to get a couple of good players tonight. Give me a follow on Twitter. I'm at HGramNFL. As things happen, I'll be tweeting over there. I'll make videos for you guys. We'll do it all. But for more Chiefs info, NFL info, takes, opinions, whatever, at HGramNFL. Give me a follow over there, and we'll see you later tonight.